On the news, Tinubu speaks on petrol price hike, says hard decisions necessary for development. NNPC says petrol from Dangote refinery might not reduce fuel price. And presidential spokesperson AER Galali proceeds on indefinite leave of absence. It's a pleasure to have you join us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Okpeyemi Owosheni. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and publicity, AER Galali, has proceeded on an indefinite leave of absence. Galali said the decision was taken after significant consultations with his family over the past few days as a vexatious medical situation had worsened. He made this known in a statement issued on Saturday, adding that he had sent a memo to the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila. Galali explained that he had also stepped down as a special presidential envoy on climate action and chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee on Project Evergreen. And President Bola Tinubu has broken his silence on the increase in the price of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol. Tinubu, who addressed Nigerians living in China on Friday, said the petrol price hike and other reforms by his administration are part of an overall strategy to set Nigeria on the path of economic growth. Tinubu said Nigeria is going through reforms and the government is taking very bold and unprecedented decisions. On Tuesday, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited hiked the pump price of petrol to 855 naira across its retail outlets amid long queues at filling stations in the country. The president stated that although it is not always easy to have a national consensus on issues, he's ready to take the hard decision to move the nation forward. Meanwhile, the chairman of NIDO, Oche Barnabas, requested that Nigeria be officially recognized as an English-speaking country to open up jobs and educational opportunities for Nigerians.
Presently, over 70% of available international jobs in China are reserved for native English speakers. They might interest to know that in 2016, the local authorities listed South Africa as a native-speaking nation. We believe Nigeria has a chance to receive similar recognition due to the fact that English language is our official language, and we are also blessed with Professor Wole Soyinka, who was awarded the 1986 Nobel Prize in Literature. We believe the enhancement of our status will open more opportunities to allow more Nigerians to study and work in China, thereby increasing more diaspora remittance in Nigeria.
All the questions you ask about what privileges that we could garner, but being listed, among the yes, we are discussing all of that. They are interested in the cultural diversity of the economy. They have the population. They have to service the population, and they are doing it. So it's in your hand to elevate Nigerians. We are not competing with any other nation. We are just part of a continent that is promising and is, forward-looking. And all I can promise you is good governance.
Meanwhile, experts have said that the adjustment in petrol prices will drive up inflation in the country. Speaking exclusively to TV 360 Nigeria, economic expert Dr. Ken Ife, however, noted that the reduction in import duties could potentially lower the cost of other goods. He expressed optimism that the commencement of operations at the Dangote refinery will improve the situation in the country. According to him, the Dangote refinery has the capacity to supply all the fuel that the country needs.
we are just happening to turn the curve on the inflation, driven by the food prices that are slowing, although that's slowing down by food sub-index, inflation sub-index, is going to be tempered by two things. One, the flood, and then also the 1 month break in rain, August break. So that affected a lot of crops. But there's also going to be counterbalanced by the 6 months license to import food. So give and take, we would have continued in that slight drop, but now the petrol is going to hike it again. So definitely that's the point, because it goes to transport costs. Transport costs goes direct to transferring goods, whether the goods are coming from the seaport or coming from the frontier states, northern states, down, is going to affect that. So, but we have to see where the balance is going to be found. We only just learned that NNPC is owing over $6 billion. Yes. We've only just learned that there may well be subsidy somewhere, as we have seen. Then we have only just seen Dangote open the tap for PMS, which is great news for the country. We've only just seen that the capacity is there, when the government has the capacity to stop the queue that we are having, the fuel queue that we are having, and the shortage that we are having, that the capacity is there to deal with this. So there will be a negotiation, without a doubt. So that's why I'm saying, hold on. Don't jump into the street, because there are so many issues to be resolved. So I would say, go to negotiating table, because there are major issues to be resolved. And it's only when we negotiate that we can find the impact of having, Dangote receives his crude in Naira and he's selling in Naira. We will want to see what that means.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has denied claims that it is responsible for the recent hike in premium motor spirit, commonly called petrol, in the country. The company said the pricing of petroleum products from any refinery, including the Dangote Refinery Limited, is determined by global market forces, saying that there is no guarantee of lower prices associated with domestic refining of the products in the country. The NNPC disclosed this on Saturday in reaction to rumors that it is attempting to monopolize the offtake of all products from the Dangote Refinery Limited. In the statement titled NNPC Limited Not the Sole Offtaker, Market Open to Lower Prices from Any Domestic Refinery, the Chief Corporate Communications Officer of NNPC Limited, Olufemi Shoneye, said the pricing of petroleum products from any refinery, including the Dangote Refinery Limited, is determined by global market forces, and that NNPC cannot undermine a business in which it owns $1 billion stake. And the Edo State government has announced an indefinite postponement of resumption of all schools in the state over the hike in fuel price. The government announced this in a memo signed by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Ojo Akinlonge, in Benin on Saturday. The Permanent Secretary said the resumption scheduled for September 9th was postponed until further notice. He urged parents, guardians and caregivers to monitor the activities of their children and watch closely, given the current situation and the rising tension in the country caused by the fuel price hike. And in the aviation sector, diverse reactions have continued to show Nigeria's delisting from the United States Federal Aviation Administration Category 1 status under the International Aviation Safety Assessment Program. The delisting means that no Nigerian registered carrier can operate to any U.S. destination until Nigeria regains its Category 1 status. Reacting to this development, the General Secretary of the Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative, Olumide Onwayo, expressed that he was not surprised by the certificate withdrawal. He explained that safety-related certificates are often revoked if they are not utilized for an extended period. Onwayo expressed optimism that it will not take as long as 5 years for Nigeria to return to Category 1 status. He, however, said that the need to address all outstanding issues and ensure that the airline presented as the flag bearer is well prepared.
The certificates are not permanent. They are meant for you to use at a certain period, and once it's not used, it's taken back. So we are not surprised. And that for the Category 1 was taken about 2 years ago, was not a recent thing. It's just that all the while it was kept quiet and it didn't leak to the media. But recently, the journalists brought it out, and everybody has said that is true, and that's been taken over 2 years ago. And when we got it the last time, it was a bragging right for us in the aviation industry in the continent. We now became instructors, regulator, and supporting most of the fellow some other African countries on how to get their safety certification in the right direction. We use this to lead the Banjul Accord and lead the most of West African safety issues. But unfortunately, we have been delisted. Luckily, we have not been downgraded. Now, would we spend 5 years to get it to be reinstated? I don't think so, and I just hope it will not get to that. We have the process. We know the procedure. All we just need to do is go back into those. There's always a checklist, and if you prepare well, then you would pass well and you finish on time. It's when you leave it to lay down there, then that's when you now spend some time and then be downgraded. Remember, we just struggled to go through the cows certification process. We barely passed, and there was a worldwide phenomenon whereby almost every country was struggling with the new rules and regulations. Then we have enough time now to tidy up the loose ends, and most importantly, the airline we are going to be presenting as a flag bearer, on that route should also be prepared. To learn from what happened to ARIC and ensure that all documentation, certification, and all professional training is needed, and flight simulation hours and flight test hours all are in place, and they'll be able to fund it when the time comes, because they will not bend the rules on certification.
To political matters now, with exactly 14 days to the off-cycle governorship election in Edo State, the need for Nigeria media to uphold truth, fair reportage, and abide by the code of election coverage in Nigeria has been highlighted. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, who made the appeal while briefing the press on Friday in Abuja, said the Commission is aware of the dangers posed by fake and misleading news, especially during an election period. Represented by the Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Mary Nkem, the Commissioner emphasized that such information has the potential to disrupt the electoral process, undermine public confidence, and incite unnecessary tensions. Olumeko noted that the measures have been put in place to minimize circulation of false information, urging the media to remain a defensive wall against fake and misleading information concerning the Commission as well as the electoral process.
Measures have also been put in place to minimize circulation of fake news, and however, we cannot do this alone. So we believe that you will remain a bulwark against fake and misleading information about the Commission and the electoral process. We urge the public and the media to play their role by verifying any information relating to the election directly with the Commission before sharing such. Our doors are wide open for any inquiries, and we have established multiple channels through which the public can reach us for accurate information.
In a country like Nigeria, where elections are emotional enterprise, your wide coverage of the Commission activities has given the Commission an opportunity to be heard, because without you reporting what we are saying, our voice will be drowned by familiar forces. Of course, countering fake news, disinformation will be very, very difficult without your cooperation, because when you reflect the truth, then the people in the business of fake news will not have anything to do.
The only way you can counter fake news is to be ahead of the game. You have to create the narrative. You have to be the one to break the news. If somebody, if we see something online that we are not sure of, that looks like it is fake, we're going to rely on those on the field to disprove or to disavow those things. So you have your jobs pretty much cut out for you, but we know that you can do it. You've delivered before, and we're confident that you can deliver again.
The AER Youth for Peaceful Coexistence has responded to the recent allegations made by the leader of the Ijaw Nation, Edwin Clark, concerning the ongoing crisis in Rivers State. During a press briefing in Abuja, the group presented a counter-narrative addressing Clark's calls for the arrest of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, Nyesom Wike. The group described Clark's demands as baseless and characterized them as politically motivated attack against the minister. They emphasized that the call for Wike's arrest is unfounded and serves only to further escalate the political tensions in Rivers State. The national coordinator of AER Youth for Peaceful Coexistence, Arono Bature, urged President Bola Tinubu to ensure that the political disputes in Rivers State do not undermine his broader peace initiatives. Bature emphasized the importance of maintaining focus on national unity and peace despite the current political challenges in Rivers State.
Politics is a game of interest. The AER Youth for Peaceful Coexistence wishes to remind Mr. President that the primary aim of this actor supporting the emboldened Governor Simfubara is to gain full control of Rivers State, to gain full control of Rivers resources, to stage a political formidable fight against the president in 2027. All of these forces supporting Fubara against Nyesom Wike is to see that yes, he loses the capacity to support the president in 2027. And we in AER Youth for Peaceful Coexistence will start with the minister in support of the president in delivering Rivers State as he has always done in the past. No matter how cunning they esteem or present themselves, Mr. President is most responsibly and urged to know better. So we want to let the president to know, to call the likes of E.K. Clark, the likes of Governor Bala, to stay clear of Rivers politics and to continue, not to continue to encourage Governor Fubara and to continue his onslaught on Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike.
We'll go on a short break here, but still to come on the news. U.S. record first bird flu case without any animal contact. Details of the story after this break. Welcome back. Now here's a recap of our top stories. Following the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited increase of petrol prices to 855 naira per litre, President Tinubu has reiterated his readiness to make difficult decisions for the nation's progress despite the lack of a national consensus on such matters. President Bola Tinubu, addressing Nigerians in China, explained that the recent hike in petrol prices and other reforms are part of his administration's strategy to spur economic growth. He acknowledged that these bold and unprecedented decisions may be challenging, but emphasized the need for them to move Nigeria forward. We also informed you that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has denied responsibility for the recent petrol price hike, stating that the pricing of petroleum products, including those from Dangote Refinery, is dictated by global market forces. In response to rumors of NNPCL monopolizing the offtake of products from Dangote Refinery, the company clarified that it is not the sole off-taker and that the market remains open to competition. NNPCL emphasized that it cannot influence prices or undermine a business where it has significant financial investments. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, AER Galali and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. In the world of business, UTM Offshore Limited has received the Nigerian government license to construct for the building of the country's first ever floating liquefied natural gas facility. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority issued the LTC to UTM Offshore at an event held in Abuja on Friday. The facility, with an estimated capacity of 2.8 million metric tons per annum, aligns with the government's ongoing efforts to boost gas production, distribution and utilization under the Decade of Gas initiative. Speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the event, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ekperikpe Ekpo, who was flanked by the Chief Executive of the NMDPRA, Farouk Ahmed, and Group Managing Director of UTM Offshore Limited, Julius Rohn, described the milestone as a reflection of President Bola Tinubu's vision to transform the country's gas industry.
I want to thank the NMDPRA for all the support they've been giving to the project, and I also want to thank Mr. President, who have given us a strong commitment that this project must be realized under his administration. And by so doing, the NMDPRA is carrying out Mr. President directive through the Minister for State for Gas, ensuring that this project is in line with the Decade of Gas initiative. Like you said, this project has a capacity to bring into domestic market 500,000 metric ton of LPG to support domestic markets. That is this just per annum. And like you know, Nigeria requires over 2 million tons per annum for domestic market. We are importing LPG for domestic market. Everybody is paying expensive price for LPG. So one project is bringing 500,000 tons, which will be domesticated. We are not going to export it. We are going to use it to support the domestic market. That is the first benefit for Nigeria, and that will reduce the pressure on forex, and it will drastically reduce the price of cooking gas to the last mile in every home in the country.
Still in the world of business, Africa has been urged to harness its vast agricultural opportunities as over 60% of its arable land remains untapped. This call was made by the Director of Business School Netherlands, Lewe Bale, during the Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce induction ceremony in Lekki, Lagos. He highlighted the potential for Africa to become the world's food basket through substantial investment in agriculture. He emphasized the need to leverage the continent's unique advantages, including its demographic trends, natural resources and youthful population. He advocated for action-learning approaches that enable graduates to effectively apply their training in real-world scenarios.
Natural resources that the Lord has blessed Africa with. It makes good sense to therefore take the best advantage of it, because those are special gifts from God to Africa. We also have very talented youth population, and they are large in number, and they are very creative, and they are extremely intelligent, and they have the capability to make things happen.
We are not belaboring the fact that the potentials abound in Africa and they are quite rich. All right, Africa is almost totally unexplored, I dare say, at this time. And so we need to continue to look inwards, because the more we look, the more we see opportunities that are untapped.
Because Africa is a gold mine. And I think the more we spread that message, the better for all of us. So we have a nice mindset shift so that people understand that the opportunities here and they can take advantage of those opportunities. First of all, just understanding or articulating what those opportunities are, and knowing that in apparent lack where the opportunities really reside. And what you can do about it is where you can apply your expertise in solving those problems that seem to be challenges. So at the end of the day, it's just realigning and readjusting your mindset.
On the foreign scene, a person in the state of Missouri has become the first in the United States to test positive for bird flu without a known exposure to infected animals, according to statement from the Centers for Control and Disease Prevention and the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. The adult patient, who has underlying conditions, was admitted to hospital on August 22nd, received antiviral medications against influenza, then recovered and was discharged. Because the patient's flu type appeared suspicious and an initial test, it was sent for additional testing in state and federal laboratories, which revealed that it was H5, also known as avian flu or bird flu. The person was the 14th to test positive for bird flu in the U.S. this year and the first without known contact with any animals. And finally, on sports, Flora Ugunwa was won silver for Nigeria in the women's javelin final at the ongoing Paris 2024 Paralympics on Saturday. This marks Ugunwa's third consecutive Paralympic medal, following gold medals in Rio in 2016 and Tokyo 2021. The Nigerian athlete threw 19.26 meters to claim the second position on the podium and secured the silver medal ahead of Saleh Elam of Iran. In a similar manner, Nigeria's Ishao Ogunkunle also raked in a bronze medal at the ongoing Paris 2024 Paralympic Games in France. His winners made the country secure the first singles Paralympic medal since Sydney 2000, owing to Ogunkunle's outstanding performances in men's single class 4. And that was our news bulletin on News Now at this time. Many thanks for joining us. I'm Okpeyemi Owosheni. See you next time.